Monday, November 10, 2025. Ladies and gentlemen, greetings and welcome to today's edition of the English newscast on Info Television. Our top stories. The Minister of Territorial Administration, Paul Atanga Nji, is on a two-day working visit across Cameroon's three northern regions. The primary motive is to preach peace and address the ongoing post-election tensions. And this October 10, the world marks the World Science Day for Peace and Development, and it's a perfect opportunity to reflect on the contribution of peace to preserving contribution of science to preserving peace. And in this newscast, we shall look at how scientists contribute to peace around the world. Those were our headlines. Details in a jiffy. Welcome back. In a decisive move to address post-election tension, the Minister of Territorial Administration, Paul Atanga Nji, has initiated a two-day working visit across Cameroon's three northern regions. His first stop was at the Adamawa region, preaching what he describes as President Paul Biya's message for peace. Jude Kenji tells us more.
The high-level delegation, which includes collaborators of the minister and elected officials, was welcomed on the morning of Thursday, November 10th at Ngaoundéré Airport by the governor of the Adamawa region. This mission, according to MINAD boss Paul Atanga Nji, aims to conduct a thorough evaluation of post-election violence atrocities while reinforcing the administration's commitment to national stability.
I'm here today at the esteemed instructions of His Excellency President Paul Biya, Head of State, for a security meeting. And during our meeting, we'll do a profound evaluation of the security situation in the region after the presidential election of the 12th October 2025.
The timing of the minister's visit is significant, coming just weeks after the October 12 presidential election, which saw President Paul Biya emerge victorious. During the security evaluation meeting at the Adamawa Governor's Office, the minister took a moment to salute the professionalism of the defense and security forces for maintaining peace and stability before, during, and after the election, despite post-electoral tensions.
I would like to send to the security services and all the administrative authorities the encouragements and congratulations from President Paul Biya. The elections were held in a peaceful and serene environment.
He called on all citizens to rally behind President Paul Biya for a united and peaceful Cameroon.
It's important for us to join President Paul Biya in his endeavor to continue to build a big, strong, united, peaceful Cameroon, respected all over the world.
The minister also dwelled on the inaugural speech of President Paul Biya after the oath-taking ceremony last November 6th, describing it as the roadmap for the future of the country.
When he was taking the oath of office, we can see that this historic speech was an important speech where all the important issues of the nation were being addressed. He touched on the pertinent issues touching the youth, the women, and the nation.
With reports presented by the governor of the Adamawa region, Kildadi Tagike Bukar, indicating that the security situation in Adamawa is under control. The minister called on forces of defense and security, as well as administrative authorities, to remain vigilant and proactive.
In a bid to improve traffic flow on major highways and ease operation for business and truck owners, the Minister of Transport last week outlined several new measures, including the suspension of payments and stops at weight bridges. Our team visited the weight bridge at Nomayos in Yaoundé and compiled the following report. Following the Transport Minister's recent recommendations, which include the suspension of weight bridge stops, traffic flow at the Nomayos checkpoint in Yaoundé has visibly improved. heavy trucks and large lorries are now circulating freely, and according to drivers, the situation is much better than before. At the moment, there are no controls, and we are driving really well. For the message given by the government, I say to them, thank you. Some road users who had previously parked their trucks due to security concerns have now resumed trips to Yaoundé with their goods. My journey went on well. We parked for more than 15 days. We were afraid to cross, even though we were asked to, and we tied our cows at one side. So finally, we were able to cross, and we are already in Yaoundé. Stakeholders and drivers alike have expressed satisfaction, saying the government's measures are helping to ensure the safety of people, goods and vehicles along the highways during this period. And thrilled Cameroonian youths are celebrating President Paul Biya's announcement to reopen PhD programs and directly recruit young students into the Higher Teachers Training College. Mimi Tiobo gathered the view of some students and compiled the following report.
Following his swearing-in and renewed pledge to protect the nation, President Paul Biya has announced the reopen of PhD program and the direct recruitment of students into the Higher Technical Teachers Training College, ENSECT, and the Higher Teacher Training College, ENS. According to President, students previously enrolled in private ENSECT and ENS program will also benefit from the new opportunities. The initiative underscores the head of state's commitment to expanding access to higher education and fostering academic excellence across Cameroon.
After the
announcement of the head of state, I was very amazed. I was very happy. I can only thank the head of state, His Excellency Paul Biya, for this initiative to have think about us, the youth, once more to have insert us in the society. The announcement has been warmly received by young graduates and education professionals who view it as a timely response to the country's educational challenges. Many believe the move will not only create new academic and professional pathways, but also boost morale amongst teachers and education stakeholders who have long called for reforms in the sector.
Nous accueillons cette nouvelle avec
We receive this news with great pleasure, but we are expecting more from the head of state, in the sense that the present batch that just entered school should also be integrated, because it's been since 2023 or so that they launched the first batch of free teachers. It is necessary for us and also for him to integrate the first batch of teachers.
D'abord, la première vague des auditeurs libres.
By prioritizing education, President Biya reaffirmed his vision of building a stronger, knowledge-driven and more prosperous Cameroon, one that invests in its youth as the cornerstone of national development.
And weeks have passed after the proclamation of the 2025 presidential election results. Various polling stations across the Central region were under the supervision of the Divisional Campaign Commission President in the person of Professor Laurent Serge Etundingwa. Phillips Enchi rallied the statistics in this report.
The just concluded October 12, 2025 presidential election continues to stir debate as the Cameroon People's Democratic Movement (CPDM) struggles to digest its landslide victory with 53.66% of votes, a result that nonetheless reflects a sluggish turnout from party militants across Cameroon's 58 divisions. Since its creation on March 24, 1985 in Bamenda, the CPDM party has consistently maintained electoral dominance. During this year's election, the Mfundi division in the Central region played a decisive role, delivering 179,394 valid votes across its 7 subdivisions, significantly boosting the party's national performance. After several sleepless nights mobilizing party sympathizers and militants, Professor Laurent Serge Etundingwa, Minister of Basic Education and President of the Mfundi Divisional Campaign Commission, once again demonstrated his unwavering loyalty to the party, its growth and the Republican values championed by its national president Paul Biya. Second on the list is the birthplace of the CPDM party, the Mezam division in the Northwest region, with its capital Bamenda, securing 155,885 valid votes in favor of the party. Despite persistent security threats in some parts of the 7 subdivisions, namely Bafut, Bali, Santa, Tuba and Bamenda 1, 2 and 3, the militants under the coordination of the Divisional Campaign Commission President Felix Mbayo, Minister Delegate to the Minister of External Relations in charge of relations with Commonwealth, demonstrated a steadfast loyalty to the party's national president, Paul Biya. The Lekki division in the Central region followed with 135,263 votes, maintaining the third position, while the Jah and Lobo division in the South region secured the fourth position with 85,774 votes. The Mvila division came fifth with 85,243 votes, and Mefu and Afamba division completed the top 6 with 80,590 valid votes. The list continues with the Boyo division in the Northwest region securing 6,614 valid votes, while the Lebi Alem division in the Southwest region and the Menchum division in the Northwest region followed with 6,050 and 5,517 votes respectively, recording the lowest score for the CPDM during the election. The result clearly reflects the efforts of various political actors within the party, translating into effective campaign strategies and the militants' determination to keep the national president in power. Despite the unpredictable political atmosphere before, during and after the election, President Paul Biya remains the people's choice. Hopes are high among Cameroonians who now look forward to seeing concrete development projects and tangible progress as his new mandate unfolds.
On to something else. As the globe marks the World Science Day for Peace and Development, attention turns to the transformative power of science in shaping our future. Mimi Tiobo in the following report explains how scientific innovation contributes to peace.
As the world marks World Science Day for Peace and Development, attention turns to the transformative impact of science on our societies. From driven innovation and economic growth to fostering global cooperation and improving lives, science remains key to building a more peaceful, sustainable, and prosperous future for all.
It's a very important day, a day that calls on us to celebrate our scientists, be they in the world, Africa and Cameroon in particular. Let me just contextualize to our Cameroonian case. As a Cameroonian, I strongly believe scientists, they've contributed enormously, at least at 3 levels. We want to talk about scientific research, we want to talk about innovation, and we want to talk about science guiding policies in Cameroon. If you take, for example, something like research, we are talking about peace and development. You want to agree with me that scientists have contributed enormously, if not towards bringing total peace in Cameroon, but at least permitting us to live in some kind of minimum peace in some areas.
By straightening the link between science and society, World Science Day for Peace and Development seeks to ensure that citizens remain informed about scientific progress. The celebration also highlights the vital role scientists play in deepening our understanding of our fragile planet and promoting more sustainable communities.
Scientists have been at the forefront on trying to put research on the table towards proposing existing solutions to some of the problems Cameroon is plagued with that we see on daily basis. So you want to celebrate them. For example, many scientists have come out to provide possible way out towards resolving the conflicts and the crises we are facing, or the challenges we are facing in the 2 English-speaking regions and in the Far North region.
Scientific and technological advancements continues to improve lives, stimulate economic growth, and enhance environmental sustainability.
You want to talk about scientists improving Cameroon, bringing minimum peace and development to Cameroon, especially in the domain of policy. You know, I run a structure, Humanity for Peace, Education and Digitalization. From the digital standpoint of that structure, you'll be talking about things like Tech for Peace, where we push policies through policy papers and policy briefs aimed at touching key domains in the domain of STEM, aimed at pushing the government to see the importance of giving STEM an important place in the Cameroonian society.
As we celebrate World Science Day for Peace and Development, we recognize the transformative power of science in shaping a better future. Through global cooperation, innovation, and the pursuit of knowledge, science paved the way for a more peaceful, sustainable, and prosperous world. Let us harness the potential to build a brighter future for all.
Roman Catholic faithful of the St. David Eucharistic Center, Bebwambe in Kribi 2 municipality welcomed Bishop Damazing Atangana of the Kribi Diocese. This was in a joyful mass which took place on Sunday, November 9, 2025. Agnes Ayok tells us more.
The town of Kribi, the seat of the Diocese of Kribi, is experiencing an extension with the creation of new neighborhoods. Aware of the pastoral need to be close to the Christians who settle in these areas, His Lordship Damazinga Atangana, Bishop of the Diocese of Kribi, on Sunday, November 9, 2025, erects the Eucharistic Center, St. David of Bebwambe, in the Kribi 2 municipality. During his homily, the Bishop of the Kribi Diocese emphasizes the importance of this erection, which officially constitutes a community of faithful in the parish under the responsibility of a priest and under the authority of the bishop. It implies a formal recognition of the parish with rights and obligations and an attribution of a pastoral church. The now St. David Parish of Bebwambe, place of worship, spiritual training, and participation in the life of the church, is entrusted to Father Patrice Emery Ava, who is now in charge of the community and the spiritual life of the members. The faithful must understand that the parish is the place of gathering for all, for the gospel, and for the life of the sacraments. We must live in unity and in communion. During this very lively Eucharistic celebration, the new parish council is sent on a mission: 1. To be a parish of proximity, and be imperative to create new parishes as the first missionaries did.
And we remain in religion to say Christians of the Presbyterian Church in Cameroon, Bonadikombo in Limbe, Mile 4, joined their counterparts nationwide to celebrate the Presbyterian Church Day. The celebration was marked by vibrant activities on Sunday, November 9, 2025. Agnes Ayok reports.
Celebrating the 68th anniversary of the Presbyterian Church at PC Bonadikombo in Limbe, the day began with the hoisting of the church flag, the singing of the church anthem, and a lively procession led by the Christian Women Fellowship. The day was characterized by colorful activities such as singing competition, dances, parade, talk of war, and a memorable Bible recitation session as Sunday school children, young people, and adults all joined in the joyous occasion. Amidst the challenges faced over the years, the church celebrates its journey of faith and growth with hope for continued progress. While delivering a sermon drawn from Genesis 15:1-6 and reflecting on the moderator's anniversary message, the parish pastor, Reverend Dr. Abraham Aki, encouraged Christians to live in unity and love.
I've been talking about a sense of love, a sense of community, a sense of faith among members of the congregation. Because the congregation thrives very much when there is unity amongst its members, when there is love amongst its members, and we try to break down the animosity that is there in the community.
The chairperson of Bonadikombo, Elder Mbwaye Eposi Florence, echoed the moderator's appeal, urging members to carry Christ's message of love to the grassroots.
When we talk of the church, we are talking about taking care of the needy, the sick, and planting of the church. So the moderator wants us to continue to be planting these churches. Let the church meet the Christians and not the Christians meeting the church.
The day was celebrated under the theme, Together in Christ, Strengthened Through Stewardship, a day which ended with a fundraising.
An increase in the prices of palm oil has raised concern among both traders and consumers. Jessica Ndiwum visited the market and made the following remark.
The price of palm oil has seen a significant surge across Yaoundé's markets, leaving traders and consumers deeply worried. In many homes, palm oil is more than just a cooking ingredient, it is a daily necessity. But in recent months, its cost has continued to climb, putting additional pressure on households' budgets. Sellers and buyers shared their reactions to the rising cost of these staple products. Oil is really expensive these days. Before, we used to buy one container for about 7,000 or 10,000 francs. Now, it's 18,000, 20 or even 22,000. We sell 1 liter at 1,800. But customers don't want to buy. They say it's too much. Even the bottles, you must pay again. One small bottle is 100 francs. And if you're buying in bulk, you add like 800 or 850 just for the containers. We can't do without palm oil. Our families depend on it. There are students. There are so many needs. Everything is changing. Prices keep going up. Even the children can hardly go to school now because things are just too expensive. Honestly, we don't even know what to do anymore. At markets across Yaoundé, vendors attribute the increase to limited supply and higher transportation costs from production areas.
Depends. You come from sometimes from Douala, sometimes from Edea, or from Boumniabel. We have more than 3 or 4 places to give to have the oil. But now it's not easy to have, because to come from that side, because rain falling now. When rain falling now, it's not easy to come from the bush to reach in the place to carry motor to bring it Yaoundé. It's not easy now. But just try to have the small that you have now, and we try to sell. The liter of palm oil now is 100 for good one. And the second one is more than 850 or 900.
Both traders and consumers are hoping prices will stabilize soon so that palm oil can remain an affordable essential for every household.
And let's talk news from out of Cameroon. From Nigeria to Mali and Haiti, different stories are making news around the world. Jessica Ndiwum focused on these nations and compiled the following report.
Nigeria's anti-narcotic agency has arrested a 40-year-old man described as a notorious drug lord at Lagos Murtala Mohammed International Airport as he prepared to board a flight to Saudi Arabia for Umrah. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, says that the suspect, Yusuf Abayomi Aziz, had been under surveillance for months. He was previously arrested in the UK for drug offences but fled to Nigeria after jumping bail. According to NDLEA spokesman Femi Babafemi, Aziz ran a large illicit drug lab in the Lekki area of Lagos, producing Colorado, a potent synthetic strain of cannabis and other substances. He was arrested alongside an accomplice, 43-year-old Abidin Kekere Ekon. Agents dismantled the lab, seizing over 148 kilograms of drugs, as well as equipment and chemicals. In separate nationwide operations, the NDLEA also seized large drug consignments, including 105.5 kilograms of Molly and 500 grams of methamphetamine in Lagos, and 87,000 tramadol pills and 72 kilograms of skunk in Niger State. While in Mali, the chairperson of the African Union Commission, Mohamed Ali Yusuf, has voiced deep concern over the rapidly worsening security situation in Mali, calling for urgent international action. In a statement released over the weekend, Yusuf condemned recent jihadist attacks on civilians and the blockade imposed on Bamako by armed groups, which has crippled fuel supplies and worsened the country's fragile economy. He denounced the severely deteriorating humanitarian conditions facing civilians and demanded the immediate and unconditional release of 3 Egyptian nationals abducted by JNIM militants. The AU chief urged a coordinated international response built on cooperation and intelligence sharing to counter terrorism across the Sahel.
And in sports, the indomitable Lions and Lionesses continue to produce results in major competitions across the globe. Over the weekend, earned a bronze and silver medal during the Sambo competition in both men and women categories. Phillips Enchi tells us more.
The indomitable Lions of Sambo have risen to the top of Africa's ranking following their impressive performance at the World Sambo Championship, which concluded on Saturday, November 8, 2025 in Bishkek, the capital of Kyrgyzstan. Cameroon ended the competition with 2 medals, a silver won by Nji Molo Sedum in the men's under 98 kg Sambo combat category and a bronze earned by Sylvana Penil in the women's under 54 kg category. This remarkable performance placed Cameroon ahead of other African powerhouses such as Morocco, Egypt, as well as France and several African nations, reaffirming the country's growing dominance in the sport on the continental stage. Cameroon's judokas are lighting up the Islamic Solidarity Games in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, with Georgia Njenge's medal in the women's 78 kg category, spearheading their charge. Other Cameroonian athletes are also making a strong impact, securing 5th and 7th positions as the event unfolds. The Cameroonian delegation, the sole African representative, is gearing up for the team's event, determined to leave its mark on the global stage. The games, which feature 3,000 athletes from 57 countries, is expected to draw its curtains on November 21, 2025. Vincent Abubakar and the indomitable Lions are in Rabat, Morocco, ready for their toughest encounters. The team will compete in the African World Cup qualifiers playoff for the 2026 FIFA World Cup to be hosted in the United States, Mexico, and Canada. Cameroon will face DR Congo in the semi-finals on November 13, 2025, with the winner advancing to the finals against Nigeria or Gabon. A victory will catapult the Lions to the Intercontinental Playoffs on March 2026. The campaigns kick off on November 13, 2025 at the El Bari Stadium in Rabat, marking the start of Cameroon's pursuit of another World Cup appearance. Football fans are eagerly waiting to see the Lions triumph, hoping they return home with the expected results.
And that sports news takes us to the end of tonight's edition. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks very much for watching and stay in the company of our programs. Have a good evening.